All right, we are, we're live, we're recording, and everyone's muted. So stay muted unless we call on you. Hey, Whitney made it. Stay muted unless we call on you because we're going to fly through this as quick as possible. I am so excited. I asked Amanda and Jodi to be a part of this Zoom with us because one of the things, and Jodi and Amanda, I'm sure you guys hear this too, is I hear, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to do this. I'm too busy to, run my business. I'm too busy to follow up with anyone. I'm too busy. I'm too busy thing. It just kills me because I don't know why one person thinks that they're busier than another and why one person's busy is set up higher than another person's busy because we're all busy. Wouldn't you guys agree, Amanda and Jodi? Like, there is never going to be a time in this business where one, you're not busy and you'll never have balance. Jodi, you've been doing this 4 years. Balance. Have you ever had balance in 4.5 years being in It Works?
It's something that you have to work on every single week, every single day.
There's Amanda. I forget how long you've been with us, hon, with It Works. 3 years. So in 3 years, have you ever not been busy and ever had balance? True balance.
Nope.
I don't know what's going on with Tracy's ear, but we see a little one's ear. Never. And so I think it's just a mindset with everyone that they have to just realize that one, there's never going to be true balance. And even corporate talks about that. And number two, life is busy. We're all busy. It is the way it is. And so you need to start changing how you think about working this business. You work It Works into your life, not your life into It Works. And if you can wrap that around your mind and start really focusing on doing, working it that way, you're going to realize that you can do this. And the reason I asked Jodi on is because y'all, if you don't know, she is a mom of 6 and a grandma of one beautiful little girl. And she's a triple diamond going for presidential in this business. And she could have come up with every reason under the sun to not work her business because of that fact, plus a few other things that happen with your husband and your daughters that could have totally derailed you. So I want you, Jodi, to talk about how you work this business, not having time and being super busy, being a mom of 6, a wife, and a grandma, and your husband has a business and you have this business. I mean, if anyone's going to say they're too busy to do this, you're a perfect example of that. So why don't you just kind of pour out to them what you do and let's just bring it for them.
Okay. So first things first, I'll never forget what Lisa told me. Lisa was a triple diamond the first night that I got to talk to her on the phone. The very first night I tried the wrap, I joined the business, I talked to Lisa on the phone, and she said, girlfriend, if you just go all in for 2 years, I promise you, even though you'll miss some ball games, some dinners, tucking your kids into bed at night, I promise you that if you go all in for 2 years, that you'll never have to miss anything again for the rest of your life except for by choice. And I kind of let it go like in one ear and out the other because I was like, well, I wasn't looking for a business opportunity. I just loved the product, loved the wrap, and took off. But you guys have to understand, I was an interior designer for 18 years. So I was in a very successful business when I found It Works. And I have 6 daughters, all 6 of them involved in everything under the sun. I had one in college, some in high school, some in elementary, some in middle school, but they are in softball, volleyball, basketball. Trent coaches them. And I never, ever found balance. I'll be honest with you, until I just ran nonstop. And I just want to go back to that moment because when I first started, I ran like you guys would not believe. Now, I know a lot of you are in D2D. You had to watch the GoPro thing. When he talks about that extreme running where you just run nonstop for the 30 days, I did that for my first 3 months. I went diamond in 3 months, double diamond in 5 months, and I had that rush. That's when I grew, when I was the busiest. And the funny thing was listening to him, 2 years later, I did the same thing again, and I ran with that rush, and I went triple diamond. So there's so much truth to it. But you guys, I could let every excuse under the sun stop me from being successful in this business. And people ask me, how much did I work it in the very beginning? I literally slept 3 hours a night, I think, between my interior design, running to ball games, doing homework, and working my It Works business. I maybe slept 3 to 4 hours a night. Now, 2.5 years later, fast forward, I retired from my interior design job. I could have retired my first year, but I wasn't ready. I loved what I did. And once I retired, Trent says I'm busier now than I was when I had 2 jobs. And I think it's the truth. I mean, the girls are involved in even more. Now I have a granddaughter that I get to see every single day, but there were so many roadblocks. There were so many things that have happened. I have 6 daughters, and with that comes a lot of struggles with their friends, injuries, and everything that you can possibly imagine. And there were so many times when I was gone and they were like, Mom, where are you? But I will never, ever forget just knowing that it was not a sacrifice, but an investment for their future. And even listening to Cammie talk over the weekend at Green Carpet, I was like, you are so right, because I'm living the great now. I don't have to miss anything, but yet I still work my business every single day. I could say, hey, I'm retired now. I'm just going to stay. I'm going to play all day. There's never a day that I don't work my business. Today I went to the gym. I came home and worked my business for 2 hours. I went in my pool for 2 hours, came back and worked my business for another couple hours, made dinner. And here we are working business again. So, every day there's something every day I work. And, my husband was in a bad accident. My 2 daughters were just in an accident a month ago. And sometimes I'm just like, what if I wasn't here? What if I wasn't able to deal with all of that? I could have let all of it just, make me sit back and think. But what it did make me realize is I have the freedom of time, the freedom of luxury to be able to be with them whenever I need to be. When we go on vacations, I work. I schedule parties and team trainings wherever we go on vacation, because there again, it's an investment for their future. And you guys, you're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to hit, so many setbacks. Life happens. We talk about that all the time. Life happens. But you have to know that you are worth it. You have to know that your family's worth it. I'll never forget, the time that I was about to give my business up because my kids were like, we just want our mom back. And that was when we really prayed about it. And Caroline Close sat on stage at a boot camp in St. Louis, and she said, when God blesses you with a gift this big, you don't turn your back and you don't walk away. He gave it to you for a reason. And I'm telling all of you, I don't care how busy you are, God gave you this gift. Okay, I want all of you to know that you are worth it and that you are in the right place at the right time. And if He would not have given you a blessing like this, if He already didn't give you every single thing it takes to be successful. So when you want to quit, when you want to, sit back and just do nothing or just kind of ride idle, remember your kids, remember your family, remember why you joined, and remember that God doesn't give things like this to just anybody. We were made to live a life full of abundancy, not to live a mediocre life. And you guys, you've probably, every single one of you that's on this Zoom, I can guarantee you at one point in life, you prayed for this. You prayed for a way out financially. You prayed for help with your health. You prayed for a way that you could reach out to others without having to spend a lot of money. You've prayed for this opportunity at one point in your life. You just don't realize that it's in your hands to do something with. So every time those roadblocks come, every time you want to quit and throw in the towel, every time somebody says, I'm too busy, I want to be like, really? I have 6 kids. I was working a full-time job or part-time job, but more like full-time with all my appointments, kids and everything. And you just got to push through it. You have to know that you are worthy of success and that you were put here for a reason. Sometimes I miss ball games. The most important thing I can tell you guys who have kids is you have to sit down and talk to your family about this business. You have to let them know that this is the business that pays for your vacations. This is the business that helps pay your bills so that you can, be happier and have freedom of time. And we have the solution for so many people's problems. We can give them freedom of time. We can give them better health, and we can give them more money. And if you guys don't realize that you have your hands on that, not only for others, but for yourself, but you're not going to get there unless you work, and unless you push through those time restraints that you think you have. You'll find a balance. But look at Cammie. She says it's still hard to find balance. But sometimes you have to put your phone away, shut your computer, and go have family time.
And I'm glad you just said that too, Jodi, because I you guys, Cammie will even say, you know, Sundays are her day. Sundays are her family day. She doesn't do anything at all with business. It's her family time until the kids are in bed, and then she might touch base on some things. But I'm glad that I love hearing how you work the business. I'm going to have you dig a little bit deeper because I want people to understand exactly what life was like when you first got started, because you did work. I mean, how many hours a week did you work with your interior design?
Well, I worked about 30 in the store, and then I had all my outside appointments. So you can figure about 35 to 40.
Okay. And how long were you in working It Works full-time for those 2 years, and when you were a full-time interior design again?
I did both of them for 2.5 years.
So 2.5 years. So 30 plus, 40, 50 hours maybe with the interior design, depending on what project you were doing, and then working your It Works nonstop. Because I remember when I came in, you and I were pushing really hard, really fast, because we both won the same contest, the same time, which means we had to work our butts off to get there. And you guys, Jodi, 6 daughters. And at the time, I mean, they were all still living at home, weren't they, when you first started? So,
yeah.
I mean, for those of you that have one child and you're pregnant, I'm not saying that you guys aren't busy or tired, because I'm sure you are. I'm not minimizing that at all. But you have choices and decisions to make now while your children are little to knock it out and work it really hard these first 2 years so that you don't have to miss anything. Because if you don't, and Jodi will be the first to tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, because I have an 18-year-old now, I missed more in his first 16 years than I did these last 4 years. Wait, the numbers don't match up. How old was he? He's 18, 14. Yeah, so I've been in 4 years. So the first 14 years of his life, I missed out on a lot. I mean, a lot. I missed watching him crawl for the first time, walk for the first time, talk for the first time, roll over for the first time. I missed his events at kindergarten, middle school, elementary. I missed high school stuff. I missed games. I missed more in his first 14 years than I have ever missed in this last 4 years. And I was doing It Works full-time, hardcore, no holds bar, like all in, tired, exhausted, going to bed at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get to work by 8 o'clock, working, leaving work, going to do a party, driving 2 to 3 hours to go to an event where there's going to be somebody who was already established in this business to watch, to see what they're doing, drive home, stay up till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to turn around and do it all over again. And I did that. But you know what? I don't regret a minute of it, because now I get to choose when I miss something. Yeah, I think that you guys are looking too short term. Wouldn't you agree, Amanda and Jodi, that they're looking at the short term when they say, I'm too busy, I can't do this, this is too much, I gotta quit, I don't have time for this, when when life's not so crazy anymore, then I'll pick back up. They're all looking at the short term rather than what can happen for their families long term if they just hustle for 2 straight years.
Yeah. You know what's so crazy? When you were just saying that, I was thinking of something at the same time. My interior design store is just in the next town, and I drive by there on Tuesday nights and on Saturdays at 3 o'clock when the designers are still there, and I'm out running around with my kids having fun. And I'm like, and I remind them every time, you guys, 2 years ago, I would have been still working right now. And look how much we've already done today. And I had to have I had to work 2 Saturdays a month, mandatory. And I gave up the 2 Saturdays that I didn't work. I gave up my kids' ball games and stuff so that I could go to It Works events, because I had to work 2 a month. And I gave up a lot of their stuff back then so that I can have complete freedom now and not miss anything. And I know I'm such a yellow, so you guys know that I'm like crying all the time, but that bike ride I took with Raya the other day, not only was I crying because for the first time in 20 years I was able to ride a bike because of our relief, but for the first time I was like, I'm riding bikes with my daughter in the middle of the afternoon, like I could not do this before. And it's things like that I'm like, it makes it so worth it. But I'm constantly reminding them, the other day when we went school shopping in the middle of the day, I'm like, you guys just think it's Monday. I would normally be at work right now. So I have to constantly remind them why I work so hard. And that's what I wanted to tell you guys. Keep your kids involved. Remind them constantly, let them help you with labeling, let them help you at events and things like that, to remind them why you are doing this and help them to dream big. You know, I constantly remind them, you guys, I had this vision of being a stay-at-home mom with you guys. And like Sandy said, I missed so many years with my girls. And now I get to see Grace every single day. My granddaughter, I see her every single day. I haven't missed anything. And it's like the best feeling in the world. And all of that hustle and bustle and 3 and 4 hours sleeps, we didn't even have energy back then. You know, I was on green like nonstop, but I mean, it was so worth it, you guys. If I could just tell you, just push. And Spencer, that little girl's so adorable. Do it for her.
Esme, her name's Esme. Isn't that beautiful?
She's so pretty.
I love it. And Amanda, I want you to pipe in, because she's the wife she had the interior design, and her husband's got his own business, and she has 6 kids, and she didn't have the grandbaby at the time when she first started this, but you're busy in a different way. You don't have 6 kids, but why don't you tell everyone what a day in Amanda Pifher looks like, and what you've been doing since day one, because you wouldn't be where you're at today because you, girl, could have totally made excuses too. Totally, and sat down and not work. So tell them what your life has been like since you started.
It's been an adventure, to say the least. When I got started 3 years ago, my daughter was 15 months old, and a few months into the business, we found out we were expecting again. So we were really excited. And when I went to my appointment, I found out that there was 2 babies in there. So I was expecting twins. So fast forward now, my daughter is 4.5, and I have the most cutest, of course, right? Identical twin boys, and they are 2, and they are a handful. So yeah, I got started in this business, and I was pregnant like a few months into the business, and I mean,
can I just say thank you for not quitting by being pregnant? I swear it's an epidemic. As soon as someone gets pregnant, they don't work the business. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it seems like as soon as someone gets pregnant and there's a bun in the oven, they forget why they started this business, and now they have an even bigger why, and yet they sit down and think, I don't have time. Maybe when the baby comes, oh, honey, you're not going to have time when the baby comes, because if you can't set time aside right now, how are you going to do that with a newborn? So how did you do that? How did you keep out of your own head knowing that we have twins coming and you just started your business?
Well, I mean, when I got started with this, I wasn't too sure exactly what I was going to do with it. I was a little apprehensive because I've been in network marketing before, and I was like, I don't know, like, can I really do this? And once I knew I was expecting the boys, this was the answer to my prayers. Like, I had been praying. I previously I'm a college dropout, went to school for nursing, all that. And then I was a stay-at-home mom. And, even though I felt, that I had purpose and everything, obviously staying home and take care of my kids, I want to be able to bring extra income. So, knowing that I had 2 more mouths to feed and the babies were coming, I was like, I have to go all in. Like, I have to lay down the excuses, because let's just be really real right now. You can't have excuses and results at the same time. You can only have one or the other. So if you want results, you got to throw out the excuses. Was I freaking tired? Yeah. Jodi remembers. I was big. Okay. I was big. And I probably had
Sorry,
3. My first month in the business, I made $900 in wrap cash. I had 3 to 5 parties a week. Like, that was my minimum of parties. And then my goals would be 3 to 5 parties a week. And then my other goal was 1 to 3 one-on-ones a week. And I just set a goal, and yeah, I was so tired. I was taking care of a toddler, and I was pregnant with twins. And when I was 7 months pregnant with them, so 9 months into the business, 7 months pregnant with them, I hit double diamond and earned the $15,000 get out of debt bonus. So I am so freaking thankful that I worked it as hard as I did and established that income, which is amazing income as a double diamond, before my babies came. It was a huge blessing. My husband got to take 2 weeks off of work to be at the hospital with us. You know, he takes a month off work sometimes now just to go hunting and do whatever he wants because he doesn't have to worry about it because I make more than him now a month staying home with my kids. And he still works full time, but, you know, obviously our goal is to be a stay-home family because I don't know, like, I don't know what you guys think, but like time is true wealth, you guys. Like money is money, but time is wealth. And I can't get that time back. And I honestly was tearing up just thinking, you know, that you missed so much, Sandy, like saying that you missed him crawl and all that stuff. Like I didn't miss any of that. And Jodi, you know, like getting emotional and all that stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so thankful, you know, that I found this business when I did. And that I don't get to miss anything, but like by choice. So yeah, I mean, it was hard, but it's harder getting a job and working 9 to 5, you know, and taking my kids to the daycare. Like you got to pick your hard, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know. Like I think
it's harder to be broke.
Yeah.
It's hard to be broke and to miss things in your children's lives because each and every one of you that have kids and you've been working since the day that they were born, I guarantee you've missed out on a lot. Or somebody, because now there's so much technology, you might have gotten a live video of Skyping of seeing your baby do something for the first time where I didn't get that. I didn't get that stuff. It wasn't until Austin's in late middle school, early high school that, well, I guess it was high school because he was in 8th grade when I started this. Now he's a senior and I haven't had to miss anything with him, but you know what? It is a lot harder to be broke and it's harder to watch somebody else raise your kid because those daycare providers are raising your children. They are with them more during a day than you are at night. So they're influencing your children every day to be a certain way and do a certain thing. And they get to have those moments with your children. Okay. And if your kids are grown, like if you're like me, now I'm going to be an empty nester. Well, you know what? Because I am a stay-at-home mom now, and the next couple of years, depending on what Austin and Jake decide to do, I get to be a stay-at-home grandma. You know, these boys, once they are, Deb, she's like, yep, that's me. When these boys are out of high school and they're deciding their choice of what they want to do, I get to be there. Like Jodi, she gets to be there for her grandbaby. She doesn't have to miss anything. And you missed so much, I would imagine, of all of your girls. Mm-hmm. All 6 of them, you missed out on so much. And we're busy, you guys. I get it. So there's never going to be a time where you feel like, oh my gosh, this is finally at a place where I can take a breath. Because the minute you take a breath and you sit down, the minute that your business is going to start going in the wrong direction. And when Amanda said, you know, I was booking so many parties and so many one-on-ones, I was doing that too. I worked all week long, all day long at work, and I was booking parties. I wish that I still had my original planner, my original thing like this, because if you would have looked at my March calendar, my February calendar, I started February 18th. I started on the 18th of February, and I had a one-on-one and a party booked every single day for the rest of the day in February. 10 days I had. 10 days is what I had, and I filled it. And March was completely full. April was completely full, which is why, and you guys, I was tired. I missed stuff. I missed my sister's baby shower with her triplets. Okay, my sister lives in Florida, and she came home, and I was able to be at the party for 20 minutes, and I had to leave to go and do a party. Okay. And then I came back, and by the time I came back, had been a storm and they closed it down and everything was done. And she was home pregnant with her triplets, and I missed it. Okay. I missed it. But you know what? I get to go to Florida anytime I want now, and I get to hang out with those babies. And guess who she calls to stay with those babies when she has to go somewhere for work, or she has to go on a wedding? She calls me. I get to go to Florida and stay an entire week with those babies. So I missed them when they were in her belly. I missed that moment. But guess what? I don't have to miss anything else. I get to fly to Florida and see them anytime I want. My son hits his senior year. it's already been a crazy, crazy time already, and we're just getting started. There's going to be college trips. There's going to be tests he has to do, senior pictures, senior trips. I mean, there's so much that we have to do, and I don't have to miss any of that. I don't have to worry about going in and talking to my boss and asking for permission to leave early or taking vacation time because I busted my butt and I worked hard. I understand you guys are tired, and I know that you guys just want to say, you know what, it's summer. I just want to enjoy this summer. When the kids go back to school, I'm going to get really serious. I'm going to get really serious, and I'm going to really start working this. It's going to be too late. You have to be working it now, because as soon as the kids are back in school, there's going to be another reason why you can't work. It's going to be because now it's fall, and it's fall break and fall pageants, and you got to work with that. And then before you know it's winter, and you'd be like, oh, it's winter, it's snowing. You know, nobody wants to do anything. Now I've got the Christmas coming up and Thanksgiving, and everyone always acts like Thanksgiving is a month long when it's 2 days, and Christmas is maybe 3 days, and everyone acts like December is a whole thing. But you have to be intentional with your time. You truly have to be intentional with the time that you have, because you're always going to be busy doing something. Always.
Right. And if it's important to you, you'll figure it out. If this business is important to you, you'll just figure it out. I mean, I fly by the seat of my pants. I'm a blue and I'm a red. I'm very disorganized. I just freaking figure it out. Like, I mean, half the time I'm locking myself in the bathroom and I got the phone in my hands, and the kids' hands are going underneath the door, and it's screaming, and it's crazy, and it is what it is, you know. Like, you just kind of have to figure it out. And I always tell my team, you know, you have to work this business out of commitment and not feeling. Like, you know, if you worked a 9-to-5 job, if your boss was like, oh, you don't feel like it today, you're having a bad day, then, you know, don't come in. But no, this business is the same way. Like, just because you don't feel like it, or someone hurt your feelings, or said no to you, aren't you still committed to your goals and your why? And that's why you have to remember why you're doing this, you know. So when you find yourself making excuses, you can look at your dream board, or, you know, and look at your why and say, wow, I remember why I got started. This is why I can't quit. And I have to do this based on commitment, not because I don't feel like it today. So I don't know, that's just really huge. And I think it's okay to rest. I mean, it's okay. It's learn to rest, but not to quit, you know, and taking time for yourself. I mean, that's okay. I mean, it's necessary. It's not selfish. We all need that, you know, and I like to do the same thing. I do Sundays as a family day. That's a day of rest. I mean, God says, rest, you know, that's good. That's healthy for us, and shut off the phone and then check it later. But I do the exact same thing. We go to church, and I try not to schedule things on a day, but if there's an event, you know, that's super important that I gotta go to, or that I want to book, then I will book it and pick a different day of the week, you know, that will be family time. And we just kind of figure it out. I mean, it's never easy, but it's worth it. It is so worth it.
And I always think too, you know, every time you have that fear, every time you get in that negative mindset where you do want to quit, or you don't want to go through with a blitz, or you just don't feel like going to an event or a party that day, stop and look your kids in the eyes and tell them they're not worth it.
Yes.
Tell your kids that they're not worth you going the extra mile to go make some rap cash, or going, you know, driving to an event to get some leads. Tell your kids that they're not worth the hard work. I can't tell my kids that.
You know what? I love that you said that, because it's so true. The minute that you guys can sit back and look at your kids and say you're not worth it, and if you don't have kids, then look in the mirror and tell yourself you're not worth it. It's really hard to do that kind of stuff. And I would never be able to sit Jake and Austin down and say, you guys aren't worth this time. You guys aren't worth the sleepless nights. I mean, we had sleepless nights when they were an infant, and we did that for 2 years. So why won't you go sleepless nights for 2 more years, so that you have the freedom for the rest of your life, and you're setting up an amazing legacy for them? I think it's all about perspective and how you put things. Like, too many people look at the short term rather than the long term goals that they're shooting for, and the opportunity.
Yeah. Another thing, Sandy, that I always think is good to let people know is, do you guys know most moms, and that's usually who you want in your business, is moms, right? Most moms are on Facebook from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. because the kids are in bed, the dishes are done, the house is clean, they finally have time for themselves. I work my business the most from probably 9 p.m. until maybe 1 a.m. That's when I connect. That's when I make a lot of relationships, because people have the time to talk to you at that time, because everything's done. The house is quiet. That's their me time. And that's the best time to create relationships and start conversations with people. Say, oh my gosh, I just saw that you're up. I love this time. It's my downtime. It's when I can kind of scroll through social media. How are you? And just make that connection at that time, because that's when people are more willing to talk to you. And that's a good time to build your business.
Yeah.
I also think just be really honest with yourself. That's what I tell people too. We're not all doing this for the same, we don't all have the same goals. Maybe you love your job and you're never going to, that's your career and you love it. And this is just something fun for you, and that's okay. But just be honest with yourself and set realistic goals. If you're only willing to put an hour into your business a week, don't get mad when you don't go ruby. Don't get mad when you don't go diamond in a year. Just be honest and set realistic goals for yourself and what you're willing to put in this. And then you're not going to be so disappointed. You can't say that, oh, I'm going to go double diamond in, 3 months and I'm going to only put in 5 hours a month. Like, that's just not realistic, and you're setting yourself up for failure. So definitely be honest and realistic with what you're willing to put into your business every single day.
Go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to grab something, because Amanda, you just said something that struck something that I read. So I'm going to grab my be right back.
Okay. I want to talk to the moms really quick too, and just say something that I've learned to do recently, probably within the last year, is to just forgive yourself. And I know that's really hard to do sometimes, but I know sometimes we feel like we're a bad mom, like if we're on our phone a lot, or we're doing this or we're doing that. But honestly, I'd rather be on the phone in the presence of my kids than being in a cubicle all day. So just learn to forgive yourself. Like, you're not perfect, but you're not a bad mom, and you're not doing something bad by being busy. I mean, I guess you got to set those work hours too. And me and Jodi have talked about this for a very, very, very long time, but I'm in the process of even hiring someone to come over to my house for a couple hours a week so I can physically leave. Yes, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I have that choice to be with my kids, but I also need to be disconnected and just fully put 100% in and work it without the distractions too. So I'm in the process of doing that, Jodi. I'm going to do it.
And like I said, you'll be a better mom to your kids when you can focus on them and not try to do both all the time. You'll have your work time, and then you'll have your full-blown mommy time, and you'll be better off with better with your kids, instead of being so stressed that you're trying to work your business and raise them at this, every moment, every day.
Exactly. And I do a lot of things when they nap,
Awesome.
And if people want to come over for a wrap appointment, you have to come at nap time. I'm my own boss. Okay. If I can't come meet you, you got to come to my house, and you have to come at this time and this time. I've learned to say no a lot. Sometimes you just have to say no, and it's really freeing. Like, no, you have to come at this time because this is what works for me and my schedule. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
And I want to go back, Amanda. You made some good points. You made some good points on what before you were talking about this, about setting realistic goals for yourself. You're gonna be busy. Life's gonna happen, and you have to. Well, number one, I wrote down a couple things when you're talking. One, you have to get your calendar out every month, and you got to sit down with your family, your spouse, your kids, and you need to make sure that you and your spouse and your kids are all on the same page. You have to mark out your calendar and mark the dates that you're going to use specifically for your parties. You have to be on the same page with them. So you have to get your calendar out and get it ready. You have to schedule your family time. If you don't have one specific day that's going to work for you, then pick the sporadic days throughout the month. Oh, look at Tina with Madeline sleeping on her, and she's still on the call. Bless her heart. That's why she's an amazing leader on my team. You have to schedule the family time. You have to get the calendar set up. You got to set your goals. And Amanda, you were talking about having realistic goals. And I've been going through this training series with an Ambassador Diamond, Christina Watts. If you guys aren't watching her training, total one team, one mission, badass person. Love her to death. And I've been watching her videos, and I was watching one yesterday at Austin, or 2 days ago at Austin's soccer game, and she put something into perspective for me, and I don't think a lot of people even realize this. Listen, are there people that are hitting Ambassador Diamond in 7 months, hitting Ambassador in a year? Like, are people doing this fast? Absolutely. Those are the people that are throwing, they have kids, they have husbands and wives, and they have kids, and they work, they're making it happen, but they're doing it because they're taking the quick sacrifices to miss the few so they don't have to ever miss the all. Okay. And here's something she said. Here's the average time frame for people in this business. And it was a real eye-opener for me. And I think I knew this, but to have Christina put it out there, here's the average. So you guys might want to write this down and put it up somewhere so it's a constant reminder for you. It takes an average distributor 4 months to get their first distributor. Okay. It takes the average distributor. Okay. There's going to be some of you that are above average. There's going to be some of you below average, and there's going to be some of you average. I'm just giving you averages of statistics that Christina has noticed. She's a smart chick. It takes the average distributor 4 months to sign their first distributor. It took Cammie Dempsey 6 months to sign her first. She's been doing this 10 years. She's a black diamond. Okay, I worked at State Farm for 5 years and couldn't pay my bills. Okay, I think I'll give it another 5. Maybe I'll be a black diamond in 5 more years, okay? It takes the average distributor 6 to 8 months to go Ruby. Average. Could you get there sooner? Absolutely. Could it take you a little bit longer? Absolutely. 6 to 8 months to go Ruby and be making an average of $300 to $600 a month. On average. Do you know the average American who filed bankruptcy last year could have avoided it with an additional $300? Would you give it 8 months to make $300, work towards that $300 to keep your family out of bankruptcy and debt? Okay, 6 to 8 months to go Ruby. It takes about 8 to 12 months to hit Emerald. So if you've been in this business for 4 months and you're not an Emerald yet and you're not a Diamond yet, you're doing okay. You're trending okay. You're average. You're doing all right. Okay, Whitney's little boy is too cute. I can't look at him right now. 8 to 12 months to get to Emerald. Okay, and then it takes about 12 to 18 months to get to Diamond. So if you've been in the business for 6 months and you're not a Diamond yet and you're thinking you're a failure, stop. Okay, first of all, sit back and think, okay, am I doing everything that I can do every day? I know I'm busy, but am I taking advantage of every opportunity that is being presented to me? Am I really, you have to ask yourself, am I really too busy to fit It Works into my life? Do you guys realize that you could move mountains with 5 and 10 minute pockets of time daily? Do you know that you can make huge impacts with 5 to 10 minutes here or there? And if somebody comes to me and they're like, I just can't do this anymore, I don't have time, I have gotten bold in my 4+ years in this business. And I'm like, so you don't go to the bathroom? So you don't take a shower? You don't take a bath? You don't take a lunch break at work? You don't you don't ever go shopping? Do you ever go out to eat? You don't go to the bank? So you never go to the grocery store. Okay, these are moments and pockets of time that you fit your business in. Okay, you have to be smart about your time, but think about you have to be smart about how you're using your time. You're always going to be busy, but you can move mountains with 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes pockets of time. Those 10 minutes can add up to probably 2 hours in a day. That's the great thing about networking. You can network little and see great results, but you have to be consistent with it. And you have to follow up. Tina always says fortune's in the follow-up. You take 2 minutes to follow up with someone. Okay, take 10 minutes to call some leads. Deb was in Florida calling people at 10 p.m. on the phone, picking them up, making phone calls at 10 o'clock at night. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I wake you up? Whatever they said, I don't know. She goes, well, let me just tell you, I met you at this event and I'm calling you to talk to you about, okay, she totally could have been like, well, it's 10 o'clock at night. I probably shouldn't reach out to them. But like Jodi said, the times between 10 and 1 or when most moms and people are available because all the kiddos are asleep. Look at all the kiddos that are popping up on the screen since we've been on this call, okay? You have to be smart about your time, schedule it out, and stop comparing yourself to the 2% that corporate likes to talk about. Because it's when you focus so much on that 2%, you start saying, oh, I'm too busy, I can't do this, I can't put as much time into it that they did, I'm never going to make it. And guess what? Another thing that we heard at Green Carpet, and I'm going to read this because it's one of the things I wrote down. If you give yourself an out, you're always going to take it. So if you tell yourself, I'm never going to make it, guess what? You just gave yourself an out. First sign of trouble, hard work, obstacles, just got busy, or someone quits that just signed up. Because I'll tell you what, guys, I've had somebody sign and then 2 days later they're out. You're going to be like, I'm too busy for this. I don't have time for it. I'm out. Okay, because you already gave yourself an out. So I personally am going to stop telling people, give me 3 to 5 years to make this work. I'm giving them an out. And that's what they said on stage at Green Carpet. Stop telling people, give me a year, give me 3 years, give me 5 years, because you're giving them an out. Stop giving yourself an out. So if you have an out right now, if you've got something that says, if I'm not a Ruby within 60 days, I'm out. You just gave yourself an out. You might as well quit now, right? I mean, realistically, you gave yourself the out, because according to this, it's going to take you at least 8 months to get to Ruby. And you just said if you don't get there in 60 days, you're out. And it's an average, okay? So what if it takes you a year to get to Ruby? During that full year that you are pushing towards Ruby, hopefully you've been putting wraps on people. So you've been making wrap cash this whole time. Hopefully you've been having parties and you've been signing loyal customers, so at least you've been making some residual income. And hopefully you've been building relationships with some of those customers, so that now they want to upgrade to be a distributor. Because how many of you that are live, and I can see your face, were a customer before you were a distributor? Okay, I know Whitney was. I know Kim was. Melinda and John were. Anyone else? I know Holly was a customer before. And because people were, is that Maggie? Maggie back there? I see her. Because their sponsor, the person that signed them, built a relationship with them while they were a customer, these people are now distributors. So even if it takes you a year to get to Ruby, a Ruby's going to make on average $300 to $500 a month. You can be making $200 to $300 a month in wrap cash if you just get out there and share it, right? So stop giving yourself an out, because you're gonna hit it every time, and start looking at the averages and try to either be above average or just go with it and know that when your time is going to happen, it's going to happen. But just know that you're going to be busy. But just because you're busy doesn't mean that you can't do great things. We've got a mom of 6 that is a triple diamond moving towards presidential diamond, and she was working 30 plus hours a week for 2 full years with her other job. We've got Amanda, who had one little one, thought they were going to have a second one, ended up with twins, and now she's trying to run a business with infants. You should see her videos she puts out sometimes. They're raising havoc in that house all the time, and she's chasing after them. So she's a bumblebee on Snapchat all the time, because it's the only way she can keep herself sane, because she's got these little kids. But you know what? She's rocking her business. I watch you, girl. You're obsessed with guacamole and the bumblebee. I see you. And but you know what? You're having fun while raising your kids, while doing this business, and you're a double diamond going for triple, and you've got 3 young kids at home. You're a stay-at-home mom. Okay, and then there's me. I have one who's a senior in high school, completely different than these 2 girls. My son was older when I joined, but I was still busy working a full-time job. I missed a lot of things. But now if I miss something, it's because I chose to. Or it's because it was I just had to make it happen. I missed my son's last soccer game yesterday because somebody needed me for a party. And I had a conversation with Austin, and I said, hey, dude, are you okay? I'm going to miss this. It was the last one that he's playing. And he's like, Mom, he's in camp. He's like, it's just a camp game. It's not the real thing. I know you'll be there for the next one. Because he knows that I can be there for them now. And that means so much to me. And the fact that, yes, I am busy. I am busy. I am coaching a lot of people all the time. I'm on the phone with people all the time. I'm out doing parties. But you know what? I've accepted that, because I want this life, and I don't want the life I had before. Girls, you want to add anything else? Because really, I mean, we could just keep going, but I think the moral of the story is you're going to be busy. Find a way to work with it. Write out your calendar and just make it happen. And just don't ever quit. Don't give yourself an out, because you'll take it every time.
I think the thing that actually stuck with me that you said, Sandy, when we were doing, I think it was some type of training we had. We were on the mom panel or busy panel or something like that. And I remember, Sandy, you said to me, and I was like, that's so an aha. You were like, doing my laundry doesn't pay my bill, doesn't make me money. That's what you said. You said, doing my laundry doesn't make me money. Cleaning my house doesn't make me money. And that's part of like forgiving myself. Like when I'm busy with my business and I know it's high time, like with, BOGO kits and stuff like that, I have piles of laundry just sitting around and my house is not very clean. So guess what? You're not invited over. I'm not going to stress myself out, right? You're not invited to my house. Like, it's not happening. Everything's a hot mess. And you know what? That's okay, because that is not necessarily important. My kids have clean clothes, they're not stinky, anything like that. Like, I'm clean, but we're living out of laundry baskets for a little bit. It's real life,
It is. It is real life. And I remember saying that to you because, you know what, you guys, it's me and my husband for the most part, because Jake's here every other week during the summer. Austin comes and goes between his dad's house and work and sports. Like, he's never here. So it's just my husband and I for the most part. And we still get a pile of dirty dishes in the sink because I'm too busy. I'm like, as long as it doesn't smell, I'm okay. I'll get to it later. Or when the boys get here, I'm like, go do the dishes. When Austin's here, I'm like, do the dishes. When Jake's here, I'm like, do the dishes. But I shouldn't say they stink. We rinse stuff. They just sit in there. Right? We don't load and we don't unload dishwasher. But the same thing, doing dishes doesn't make me money. Doing laundry doesn't make me money. Vacuuming my floor doesn't make me money. Making my bed does not make me money. Getting on the phone and building relationships with people makes me money. Wrapping people makes me money. Booking parties makes me money. Doing Zooms makes me money because maybe it inspires and it makes you money because maybe it's going to inspire you to get out there and work your business and stop making excuses about being too busy, because you're never too busy to fill your pockets of time. Jodi?
Man. The last thing I want to say too, that when we're talking about rubies and going like the average, person, what I wrote it down, 6 to 8 months or whatever. Yeah. Something I think Joel Dunn said this, and I watched it with Jodi. We watched it live in Columbus last week, and I know you got to be there, so that's super exciting. But anyways, he said that was like an aha for me too. If you're a Ruby in this business, or when you go Ruby, because you are going to go Ruby, because we're declaring that, you're in the top 3% income earners in this entire industry. That for me was huge. Like, Ruby is a foundation. We have to get people to Ruby because you're a pretty badass. I'm sorry. You are badass if you are almost there to Ruby, or you are a Ruby, because you're the top 3% income earners in this entire network marketing. So for me, that was really, really cool.
Yeah, my mind was blown when he said that. I was like, what? Yeah. So Ruby, you're in the top 3% of the whole network. Like, think about that. And if it takes you 8 months to get to the top 3%, that's kind of a big deal.
It is a big deal, because a lot of people are not, they're not making money in other companies, and we have a very high, high rate of people making money. So I don't know. I just thought that was really, really cool. So don't ever just say, I'm just a distributor, I'm just an executive, I'm just a Ruby. So I don't know. I just thought that was a cool thing to share with everyone.
Yeah. He also said, get up and get out of your own way, because most of the time we're the ones that are holding ourselves back. And I thought that was huge too. Know that your story is constantly being written, and just don't give up. I mean, that's the big thing. Don't give up and keep running. I just want to share, I talked to one of my distributors today. She signed 7 distributors this week. And she was freaking out because she's like, I don't know where to place them. And I'm like, whoa. What happened? She signed 7 and her sidekick that was at green carpet with her signed 4. I'm like, what happened? She said it was the GoPro video. She said minutes 5 to 35 on that GoPro video. She goes, changed my life. I went out and signed 7 distributors this week. So guess what my 2-hour tanning session looked like today when I laid in my pool. I listened to GoPro again. I'm serious, you guys. Listen to it again and again and again, because there is so much truth to every single thing he says in that video. And my business is the spitting image of what he says in that video. If you want to make 6 figures a year, you do what he says in that video. If you want to make 7 figures a year, do it twice.
Boom.
It was just a huge eye opener.
So we are all going to listen to minutes 5 through 35 of GoPro, and we're all going to sign 7 distributors, right? And then we're going to freak out and call your sponsors and be like, I don't know where to place them. Awesome. Hey, I just want to say thanks you guys for getting on. I just wanted to pull Jodi and Amanda on because they've got unique situations. They're busy. They're moms. We're all busy. We're all moms. Well, the majority of us are moms, grandparents, dads, because we know we got John on here and John's on the team. It's just life's going to be busy. Choose how to work that busy time, because you're going to see success as long as you don't give yourself an out. And I want to thank you guys for jumping on. Jodi, Amanda, love you guys. Thank you for taking time away from your schedule, your busy schedule, to be a part of mine. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone. I love you guys. Go out there and smash it. We've got tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day for these BOGO kits and your double points and your double fast starts. You guys, it's $200.
I'm getting my kit tomorrow.
She's like, I'm getting my kit tomorrow. Awesome. All right. I love you guys. Have a great night. Go out there and smash the rest of the month, okay?
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Bye.